Hello. Hello.等一下。
Hey guys, it's Dr. Show. I set up and let's go through this. The first page is like, and even though that Stockholm and Frankfurt is the two countries and servers with the best routing, I actually found out that Paris is the server that I have the best routing to. So I'm streaming via Paris. I'm gonna link in description to a Twitch test you can run. But for me, Paris is the best. Um, so I chose Paris. Maybe yes, settings on the Twitch, and it says stream key, and you can i5 chose the graphic card pressure on your CPU. So that's why you should consider using your graphics card because you won't use that for a lot of stuff. And here I have rescaled the output for 1280 720 because if you run the highest resolution, that's gonna put a lot of pressure on your CPU and your GPU, which will cause like this laggy screens for your viewers. Also, you should consider only the highest resolution if you, again, experiment.
Are you having problems with your OBS to simplify YouTube so you and I can grow together? And open up OBS Studio, or if you're in the middle of a live. So when you're in OBS, in the lower right hand corner, you have a settings option. When you click on settings, you're going to get this box that opens here. Now what you want to do is head into the output menu, and you'll see that you have streaming information with an audio bitrate and a video bitrate. Your video bitrate is what is going to help you get past that freezing and buffering that you're experiencing on your system. Now, if you installed OBS recently, it tries to perform tests to determine your op did it a thing to in my in your streams. HD quality, whatever, still have a full just the bitrate on your live stream. And that will absolutely help you get past buffering and other issues that you experience. So you can, while you have somebody on a screen in OBS, you're doing your live stream, you can hop in here, pop up the settings, and try to scale down that bitrate to a point where you get a day. If you want to work on the internet, make sure you click that subscribe.
欢迎回到我的 channel。这一期呢，我们拍的是新的一集《Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishment》。它是一个恐怖悬疑的游戏，对，它类似像侦探这样吧。
Holmes! Holmes, will you stop that? You are utterly mad. Stop, Holmes!
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate.
And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate.
And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
So, hello everybody. So, today we will learn how to do streaming on YouTube every system and systems or systems which have low capacity or internet connections which have low capacity. So, let's get started. First, move to the stream. The stream is something like that, whatever you want to do. So, you can use that also. So, output, this is the main section. Advanced, you need to do advanced, okay? So, I'm using 720 pixels 1280 into 720 pixels for output. So CBR is the main settings. You have to use CBR for YouTube and bit.
Hello. Hello，大家好。Hello，大家好。Hello，大家好。Hello，大家好。Let's start again. 那今天呢，我们玩这个游戏呢，叫做 Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishment。那它这个游戏呢，就是一款，简单来说就是一个侦探这样。比如一个凶手他杀了人，然后我是侦探，我就来查案那个人。对，我是负责查案的。那我们话不多说，我们赶紧开始吧。这里。
Holmes! Holmes, will you stop that? You are utterly mad. Stop, Holmes!
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should have Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
You go along to Peter Carey's house. Mrs. Hudson and I will take care of the mess you've made here.
我看着这个吓到我
My
了。
analysis table. It is useful for my work. My archive. I can always consult with it if needed. My archive. I can always consult with it if needed. This is where I keep my post. My archive. I can always consult with it if needed.
我觉得不用 make up 了，他已经够帅了。现在换衣应该倒是可以。red shirt, brown shoe, yeah. I think black color is 比较适合侦探的。那我们赶紧出门吧，换件黑色就够了。
Oh, what a mess! What a terrible mess!
那我们去我们里。到了。
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and, oh dear.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
인지 Holmes 오찬 없다. Goodness. House.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Thank you, madam.
Okay. Nothing's here. Let's go check another place. 这个幕就好像他开 Super Slayer 这样子。
Mr. Holmes?
Mr. Holmes 啊。哦。
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
Mr. Holmes? The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see. These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
这是案发地点。
What a terrible way to die. This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps. The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. Harpoons for hunting whales. Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8. Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting. The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense. This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks very strong. The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey. JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook. These abbreviations mean something, but what? This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. This wooden handle is plain and solid. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed.
他就是来自卫，就保护他自己。那把刀。
Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer.
他懂他是 murder。那我们看 B。
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry. The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded. The initials PC have been crudely
像
burned.
名字这样，
A sailor's work.
裁缝的，可以打开啊，看里面。哦，一个东西打不扣。
This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
有点像海盗感觉。哦，可以移动。这样吧。这样吧，对。
Yes, this is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
一个船了。
Someone drank from
有
this
那个背。
glass recently. Someone drank rum, a sailor's drink. It seems that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death. Dundee. Hammerfest. It's a whaling map. Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon. It seems that the garden was well maintained. It seems that the garden...
切到有什么来的？
Mr. Holmes?
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There is a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Thank you, madam.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us. This looks like the perfect hiding place.
到了晚上，
Shh. Did you hear that? There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Police! Hold it right there!
到底发生了什么事呢？那我们接下去看吧。如果你们喜欢影片的话，也请记得按赞、订阅、分享。
Come and see what we've caught
然后
in
我
our
们看
net.
第2集。
So, hello everybody. So today we will learn how to do the settings in OBS to get the streaming on YouTube and Twitch. So today we will talk about the optimum settings which will run smoothly. Also use Facebook or something like that, whatever you want to do. So you can use that also. So output I will write most. So apply these settings also. If you have a high-end system like quad core system, you can use slow options. Otherwise, fast or medium is good for Core i7, as I have Core i7 dual core, so that is good for us because it gives the smooth streaming and the low load on system itself. So that's it for the settings of that. And now move to the video settings. Less like base resolution is the resolution of your screen. Remember that. Okay, this is my output resolutions. And frame rate, if you have higher internet connection and settings. So higher internet connection and computer, you can use frame rate of 60. Otherwise 30 is very good and it gives smooth settings. So hope that really helps you. And most of it I use most of it these settings. So these are the best settings to run system smoothly. So hope that helps you. Thanks a lot for your time.
Where on earth are you, Mr. Holmes? This is bad timing if you're wanting a game of hide and seek.
Lisa
Holmes, will you stop that?
Today we will using
And it's
Grow together. buffering and other issues that you expect.
And let's go through this. The first page is like, and even though that Stockholm and Frankfurt is the two countries and servers with the best routing, I actually found out that Paris is the server that I have the best routing to. So I'm streaming via Paris. I'm gonna link in description to a Twitch test you can run. But for me, Paris is the best. So I chose Paris. Yes, settings on the Twitch, and it says stream key, and you can. I5 chose the graphic card, pressure on your CPU. So that's why you should consider using your graphics card, because you won't use that for a lot of stuff. And here I have rescaled the output for 1280 720, because if you run the highest resolution, that's gonna put a lot of pressure on your CPU and your GPU, which will cause like this laggy screens for your viewers. Also, you should consider only the highest resolution if, again, experiment.